I suppose when it really hit me that this is what I need to do and set up a sustainable business was when I was working in the refugee camps in northern Kenya. This was when I was working for the water engineering consultancy, where we were developing the manual for water sanitation and hygiene. But we were working on a slightly different project at this point, where it allowed us to walk through the camp, meet the people, and to really look at kind of what facilities were available to them. And this is where I met Paul. Paul was a 7-year-old boy who was living in the refugee camps, and he told me a story about what it means for him to go to the toilet. And this was waking up in the middle of the night, climbing over his parents to go to the toilet, and walking out of his tent, and about 50 meters down the road to the local pit latrine. When he goes in, he squats down, does his business, and on his way back up, he puts his hands down on the floor. And this is very typical for children in the area. They don't really understand the kind of problems with hygiene as it hasn't been taught to them, and it's very difficult to avoid that in an environment such as this. And when he goes back into bed, climbs back over his parents, and to get back to sleep, he sticks his thumb in his mouth. And that completes the fecal-oral disease transmission line, which kills about 200,000 children every single year in Africa. And so with all that kind of personal connection to Paul and his family, I knew this is something that we had to solve. And so that's why I started the Biofactory. My name's Owen Sharkey. I'm the founder of Biofactory, where we've developed an all-in-one toilet and waste processing system for low-income, high population density areas in sub-Saharan Africa. So we applied for an Innovate UK grant in November, which allows us access to the funding towards an £850,000 project in order to do this development phase. That's split between government money and private investment, which we're currently in the process of closing our investment round. That will allow us to build one UK prototype system to validate our technical feasibility for the product. And then we will go out to Mozambique to build a further 2, where we can validate the social and cultural barriers that we're expecting to experience. That way we can get a lot more user feedback, we can validate the product in a real life scenario, and then we can work on scaling up our manufacturing process and building these systems on scale. Initially, when I started the company, I had no idea what I was doing. So my strong point was mechanical engineering. I knew how to do that. Going into a business and starting a business, I knew a little bit, I didn't know a lot. And so SETsquared have really supported me in setting up the business, understanding what I need to produce, understanding who I need to be talking to, connecting me to networks where I probably wouldn't have been able to get the access to. And those were fantastic to build the core of the business, but also they've helped me develop my pitching ability. So going through the Graduate Accelerator Showcase in London, we had a huge amount of mentoring towards presentation, pitching, and that's been influential in my progression personally, but also for the company.